I occasionally wanted to start making a few videos like this here and there, just going over like just some albums that I'd recommend people to listen to, kind of based on what I've been listening to a lot recently. And I kind of narrowed down to just 6 albums to make it not too overwhelming, I guess, for people. So I just wanted to obviously start with just the metal genre. Kind of try to do this in like a trilogy of videos every once in a while, and I'm gonna start with metal genre, and then I want to do a hip hop one, and then I want to do another one that's just various other genres, because like a lot of my music listening revolves around metal and hip hop, and obviously it can vary sometimes, and I might change that eventually in the future, but a lot of the stuff is usually around this, and I just want to recommend uh, albums from both of those genres in particular, and then have another video just going over just some stuff within just like other genres that aren't in, like around hip hop or metal. Metal music, I'm always listening to some type of metal usually. It's been a big part of my life for pretty much my whole life, my whole musical life, and just really been on a huge kick of it again in the last, like, just since the beginning of this year, end of last year. Just really been listening to a lot of metal music, and it's always there, like I said. So just wanted to jump right in, I guess. This first one is one I've been listening to probably one of the most out of all of these, and I just can't get sick of it. I've been listening to it for months, and it's Intestism, Banquet in the Darkness, and they have 3 albums out, but this is probably my favorite out of all of them. But even though I do love all 3 of their albums, they're all just very consistently good. But this is a melodic death metal band from Japan, and they've been around since the 90s, and their last album, Ultimate Instinct, came out in 2008, and they have not released anything since then. I hope they will release something again one day, but I'm not sure. I think they are still together as of right now. But this is just like, I've like really been digging into like melodic death metals. I've never been too much into it in the past. Never, just like, I didn't like it the first time around when I first like was getting into more extreme metal music. I just like the old school, like brutal kind of death metal stuff, and never really gave like melodic death metal too much of a chance. But this is just like such a great mixture between just like the like more like melodic stuff, like that they came out in like the 2000s, like In Flames and stuff like that, mixed with just like kind of that like brutality of the just like the old school death metal. And I've just been really loving this album in particular, and love the album artwork, and just love the music on it so much. The song Memory is one that stands out a lot on this album, but like every single song is just absolutely amazing, and just listen to it all the time, like sometimes multiple times a day. Just love this album so much, so I'd really recommend you guys to listen to this if you have not heard of Intestism, or just are interested in them in any way. The next album I want to talk about kind of goes along with this one to me, just because I've been listening to these like back to back and just like loving them so much in recent months. And that's Necrophagious with Epitaph, which is their second album and final album at this point. And they only released one other album, Onset of Putrefaction, in 1999. But this album came out in 2004, and this kind of is going to start going in with like, I've been into a lot of early 2000s music, and I've been thinking about making a video about the early 2000s, just how like so much incredible music came out between the years of 2000 and 2004. That was like insane. But you see that this and in the hip hop video, and even somewhat in the other video. But this album just shapes modern technical death metal music. And I don't love it. I haven't gotten into a ton of like modern tech death, but I've really been liking this album a lot. And Onset of Putrefaction is really great too, but this one is just like, it's the one I go back to more, and I just really have been enjoying listening to it. and it's just like addicting and just so fun to listen to. Just like the technicality and just like the amazing instrument playing and stuff. It's just like incredible on it, and it's just such a fun album to come back to. The next one's a classic, Stone Cold classic. I mean, all these are kind of classics to an extent, but and I think that's another thing I wanted to mention is that I don't want to go over any albums that are part of the current year, so 2025. I'm not gonna go over any new albums. So if you're expecting new albums in this video, sorry, but this is gonna be all older stuff for the most part. But because I don't really want to, I want to kind of save the 2025 albums for later in the year when I do like a list for them, and so yeah. But next album, Emperor, Anthems to the Welkin at Dusk. This like people always talk about is this or the in the Night Side Eclipse, the better album, and I don't know if it's a better album, but I prefer this album. I really like this album, and I've been coming back to it quite a lot. And Emperor is a band I didn't really like the first time around as well. I just didn't really like the symphonic feel. I wanted like the old school, just like lo-fi black metal. But I've really just grown to like this and like have more appreciation for like the classical kind of element that's in with it. And I just love this album. It's really great. I love the album artwork. I love the instrumentation. I love the first song, just the intro, how it leads in. It's just like incredible. It's just so fun. It just gets me every time. But classic album, classic band for Norwegian black metal. And Emperor's always just been like the one that kind of stood out from like most of the Norwegian, like the most known Norwegian bands in the 90s. Like they just most of the other bands are just on that like kind of like atmospheric or like raw black metal sound, and then Emperor was doing just that more like symphonic and just had a different feel to them all around. So, and I'll kind of go in with this next band too, is kind of in that same kind of realm with like the more symphonic and just different kind of sounding black metal that I didn't like as much the first time around. And that is Abigor, and I wanted to particularly talk about their album Satanized that came out in 2001. So I feel like this album is really underrated, but I've been really into Abigor just in general recently, and but I feel like this is a good album that kind of like mixes that like kind of that late, you can still hear that like late 90s sound from like the channeling the Cold Essence of Satan and Supreme Immortal Art, but then it's kind of like alluding more to what they would do on Fractal Possession in 2007. Just that more like avant-garde kind of weird sound, and has really been going back to this one quite a lot, and I've been liking it. And like I said, I feel like it's underrated and people don't really talk about that much, or just like usually rated lower from of their general albums. So I feel like it's one worth checking out, and I think it's a really good album in general. And next, these two bands, Avagore and this band, I've been listening to together kind of a lot as well, kind of go together for me. That's Not Enough to Rock, and specifically their album, this Sideratum, I think that's how you pronounce it. But this is just like, they're just an interesting band to me. Like, it took me a little bit to get into them. But I feel like this album, like people call this their most melodic album. But the early stuff was very like just like industrial black metal, like very brutal in your face, and I still love that, and it's still very prevalent in all of their music. But they have more melodies on this, and they have the more just high-toned, like heavy metal kind of vocals mixed in with the just insane, brutal, just insanity that they are. So they're just a really interesting band to me, and I've really been liking their stuff, and this album kind of sticks out to me, and been enjoying it quite a lot, and I think it's pretty underrated in their discography as well among fans. And the last artist I want to talk about in this video is one I've loved for quite a long time. I've like just gotten more into their more like different sound. I think I talked about this earlier in the year too, and that's Immortal, specifically their album Sons of Northern Darkness. I just really been liking this album, and just it's just come back around. Like I listened to it a lot at the beginning of the year and then took a little bit of a break from it, and I'm coming back and wanting to listen to it again. It's just such a fun, just like straightforward black metal album. And it's just cool seeing their little bit of progression through their the years that they're making their like peak albums from the early 90s to early 2000s. And another album that came out in the early 2000s, 2002. It's just crazy. There's so much good stuff from that time. But yeah, I just wanted to just briefly go over some stuff. I want to go on too long. So you get the point. Definitely check these albums out if you haven't, or just if you have, you know them very well. I'm sure a lot of people do, that people who are fans of metal music. Give them another listen to them again. Just take the time, just don't listen to these albums this month. It's kind of wanted to go with too, like go back and appreciate these things, and if you don't like them, maybe you'll have a new appreciation for them this time. But yeah, that's all I want to do in this video, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.